Hello guys, welcome to another episode of the Whiskey Diaries. We are going to be talking about the edition number 3 of Macallan. This is our third video so far of the editions. You can look up at the other videos of edition 1 and number 2 in the links. And the reason why we're going through these is because Macallan is showcasing their expertise on barrel making. Basically, Macallan, since the beginning of Macallan, they've always been using sherry casks, as I mentioned it before in previous videos. And then in 2014 or so, they released a new one that is with more American oak, that is called the Fine Oak series. And now with the editions, what they're doing is they're doing a collaboration with different professionals of different industries. Edition number 1 was just Bob, the distiller himself, just doing a blend between all the different oaks that he liked. Edition number 2 was with the best restaurant in the world that got in 2013 and 2015. And then edition number 3 is with a perfumer. The perfumer is Roja Dove. He creates his own perfume and he's very well renowned with Aromas and Flavors. So what they did is they approached him and they gave him a fair few samples of Macallan, just for him to give an idea of what sensory and smell comes into whiskey. Obviously, as everybody knows, and if you're a big follower of whiskey, you know that smell from whiskey gives you like at least 70% of all the flavors that you got. As you might know as well, your sense of smell is basically what you can taste. So you can only taste 4 or 5 flavors with your tongue, including umami. With your nose, you can actually smell 100 to 150 aromas on itself. So aroma is a massive impact on whiskey. So that's why they picked the perfumer. The perfumer also picked most of the barrels. What he believed was actually key to Macallan. As you know, Macallan is considered Rolls-Royce of whiskies, and they have a very particular wood program that is basically they have really good relationships with everybody in Jerez from 100 or 200 years, and they have their own cooperages there. They can pick and choose whatever they want. So these editions are there to showcase how good they can do with their wood. So this one is the first out of the first 2 editions as well that they introduced a new type of barrels. The first 2 editions they had only 3 types of barrels, that is a hogshead, a puncheon and a butt. This one they add an extra one that is called just a barrel. I'm assuming that it's just a standard 450 litre barrel, or 400 to 450 litre barrel. As I said before, different barrels, they give you different types of finishes on the whiskies, especially if you, the bigger the barrel, the lighter the spirit, because less wood contact. So you got the puncheon that is 650 liters, 500 to 600 liters. Then you got the hogshead that is 500 to 550, and then you got the butt that is 500. The barrel will be a little bit smaller as well. So the barrel actually is a smaller percentage on this one, that is only 7%. Then you got 30% from the puncheon, 32% on the hogshead, and 31%. All of this information is on the back of the box. Actually, I love the boxes themselves because it actually gives you so much information and so much more information. And also, I think they're giving you a little bit more extra information, so you forget about the actual fact that it doesn't have an age statement. Macallan, in the last 10 years or so, probably more than 7 years, they have been experimented on the no age statement releases. They started with when they releases the version of the Amber, Sienna and Ruby releases. That basically it's just they're trying to show that flavor doesn't come from the age. Flavor comes from the master of blending and also distilling. So regardless of the age statement, you can actually, on a blind tasting, you can actually have a whiskey that is 21 to 30 years old compared to something that doesn't have an age statement, and the one with no age statement sometimes can be better. We all had, well, in my particular experience, I had some old whiskies like 30, 35 years old. I said that were quite average, and other whiskies that have no age statement that actually have been phenomenal. So I really recommend these ones. All of these are special editions, limited releases that are basically highly collectible. Even the edition number 3 that got released a couple of years ago went on the market for like $180, and now it still sells for $600. So they're all highly collectible. As I always say, if you're going to collect whiskey, I would suggest to buy 2, one for drinking, one for keeping, because it's not, I don't believe in storing whiskey without tasting it. So this one is edition number 3, as I said before. That's the box. Forgot to mention as well, there's 6 types of wood in here. We've got Hudosa back, there is American oak, refill butts are European and American. Then we have European again, American, European and American. So obviously there's a lot of blend, almost 50-50 between European and American oak, which means we're going to get a lot of more vanilla, more toffee, and a lot more sweet notes from the oak. The ABV on this whiskey is 48.3. Edition number 1 is 48, edition number 2 is 48.2, edition number 3, 48.3, edition number 4 is 48.4, and so on until number 5. I think that's pretty quirky, and I really like that little detail. This one, if you compare it to other whiskies, it's slightly more yellow. I guess the label makes it like it doesn't have that red tinge that you get from the sherry cask, and I'm assuming that that's obviously because of the a lot more use of the American oak as well. So on the tasting, yeah, oh, that's very different to the other two. You can definitely taste the Macallan there as the new make, and also the backbone, but you can get a lot more wood, American oak, so it's a lot more sweetness to it. Also a lot more floral. It's just almost like a little bit lighter. It doesn't have that full-on sherry punch that you get from most of the Macallan. This is a lovely addition if you want to try something that is very different to what Macallan can do. Anyway, so hopefully you enjoy these ones, so we'll see you next time. Slàinte mhath.